Well, here we are again to review my Tuesday morning meeting and the topics that highlighted the meeting. This is a statute, it's not new, but it affects people that are interested in investment real estate on up to 4 family. It probably relates to people interested in flipping properties, and it protects you and the buyer. We're fortunate to have Julie George with us, who's head counsel for Title Partners Premier, and she's going to explain this to us.
Thanks, Bob. This morning I'm going to talk to you all about the Missouri statute, section 429.016, which went into effect in November of 2010. This new law allows title companies to cover mechanic liens if the above statute is complied with. What this means is that a seller of a residential property, non-owner occupied, must record a notice of intended sale that complies with the statute at least 45 calendar days prior to the intended sale date. Lien claimants also must be listed or record their own notice of rights at least 5 days prior to the date stated on the notice of intended sale, or they lose their lien rights to a bona fide purchaser for value, and also to the lender. There's provisions also in the new statute that provide for a bond to be posted to remove any potential liens from the property. Essentially, what the new law aims to do is protect buyers and title insurance companies from hidden liens. Transactions that are not affected by the statute include commercial transactions, remodelings or additions to owner-occupied residential properties, an owner that has built a home on a lot that he or she already owns and they intend to occupy the property after, and residential property where construction is complete, where there's only an end loaned with no sale to a purchaser. Transactions that are affected: new constructions, so builders who are building new homes need to pay attention to the statute. Also, like I said before, residential non-owner occupied property, so rehab, repairs, or additions. Generally, residential property is considered a 1 to 4 family residential dwelling, and that can be any structure. It can be a condo, a townhome, a co-op, etc. Planned unit developments, the residential portions of those planned unit developments that are indicated on a plat also need to pay attention. What are the requirements of this notice of intended sale? The notice of intended sale must be recorded in the Recorder of Deeds office in the county where the property is located, and it must be recorded at least 45 calendar days prior to the date the seller intends to sell or close on this property. I brought with me a copy of a notice of intended sale, and I'll show you that now. The notice of intended sale looks like this, and what we need to be sure people are putting on it is the date of the notice. Also, the name and address and the legal description of the property that the seller intends to sell. The date of the intended closing, or the date in which someone will purchase the property, again, must be at least 45 days from the date that notice is recorded. Signed by its owner, and also this document must be notarized. It's important to note that if there is an error in the legal description, that's fatal to this notice. Failure to timely record the document also will tender the document to be fatal. The statute also requires that the owner of the property post that notice of intended sale at the property where the rehab is being done. That way, anyone who would like to file a notice of rights has access to the legal description and pertinent information that they need. Another caveat to note: our title insurance company will not record this document for you. This is the responsibility of the seller. Now, I talked a second ago about the notice of rights, so I'll explain that a little bit as well. This notice can actually be recorded prior to the date that the notice of intended sale goes on, and the document is recorded by potential lien claimants, and it works to retain or preserve their right to a mechanic lien. This notice of rights must be recorded not less than 5 calendar days prior to the closing date listed on that notice of intended sale. And again, a lien claimant preserves its rights that way. It can preserve its rights by recording its own notice of rights, or a contractor or a worker can be listed on a notice of rights that's been recorded by a contractor. A lien claimant who fails to timely record, or who isn't listed on a timely notice is deemed to have waived any right to assert the mechanic lien. What does that mean? The lien claimant can still retain its other legal rights under Missouri law. Note, if the last day to record the notice of rights is on a Saturday or a legal holiday, the date is then extended to the next date that the recorder's office is open. Anyone who has filed a notice of rights, we require that we obtain a final and unconditional lien waiver. Generally speaking, you will still see on your title work or the commitment our general mechanic lien exceptions, and we will also call for a properly recorded notice of intended sale. We must also have final and unconditional lien waivers from any parties who have been named or identified in a notice of rights. The closing date is very important. Example, if a notice of intended sale is dated January 1st, recorded January 1st, with the intended sale date of being the following February, so February, let's say the 20th, and we close February 23rd, that is a proper notice of sale and will work to extinguish the hidden lien potential. Now, another scenario to consider. Let's say the notice of intended sale is dated January 1st with an intended closing date of February 15th. However, the owner of the property does not record the notice of intended sale until January 5th. That is a fatal error in the notice of intended sale. I hope this gives you a little bit of information regarding the notice of intended sale, and I would suggest that if you have any questions, it would be advisable for you to contact an attorney of your choosing. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie, for sharing that with us. If you'd like a copy to what Julie just explained to you, go to our website at realtyexchangeweb.com. I'll look forward to seeing you next Tuesday for another update.